What if the question is more important than the answer? One of the things I've noticed over the years is that we're conditioned to celebrate answers. We celebrate the person who knows the most, who responds the quickest, who appears to have it all figured out. Very rarely do we stop and celebrate the person who asked the question that changed the entire conversation. Think about it. Every major discovery, every innovation, every improvement started because someone questioned something everyone else had accepted. Before there was a new solution, there was a new question. Before there was progress, there was someone willing to say, "What if we've been looking at this the wrong way?" Sometimes I think we've become so uncomfortable with uncertainty that we rush to answers before we've really understood the problem. We mistake confidence for correctness. We assume that because someone answers quickly, they must be right. But speed and certainty are not the same thing as wisdom. I've learned that good questions have a way of exposing blind spots. They reveal assumptions we didn't know we were making. They uncover things we've overlooked simply because we've seen them the same way for so long. A good question doesn't always give you an immediate answer, but it almost always gives you a better place to start looking. I've also noticed something else. The best leaders I've worked with weren't threatened by questions. They welcomed them. They understood that questions weren't necessarily challenges to their authority. Sometimes they were invitations to see things differently. The strongest leaders create environments where people feel safe enough to ask questions without worrying that curiosity will be mistaken for disrespect. Unfortunately, we've also seen the opposite. We've all been in rooms where someone asks a thoughtful question and the atmosphere changes. Suddenly, the person asking the question is viewed as difficult, resistant, or not being a team player. But what if that's backwards? What if the willingness to ask thoughtful questions is actually one of the greatest contributions someone can make to a team? The reason this matters so much to me is because questions shape the direction of our thinking. If we ask shallow questions, we'll probably end up with shallow solutions. If we ask better questions, we'll likely uncover better answers. The quality of our thinking is often limited by the quality of the questions we're willing to ask. That's one of the reasons I look forward to doing this series. I'm less interested in convincing you that I'm right, that I am inviting you to consider a different question. Because once the question changes, the conversation usually changes. And once the conversation changes, the possibilities often change too. Let's explore questions about leadership, communication, education, and the systems we build. My hope isn't that you'll agree with everything I say. My hope is that you'll leave each conversation asking a question you hadn't considered before. So here's the question I'd leave with you today. When was the last time a single question changed the way you thought about something? Not because someone gave you the answer, but because the question itself caused you to stop, reflect, and see something differently. Until next time, hey, keep asking better questions.